Good day, everyone. I am John Marian H. Biliran, and I am here together with my co-members to discuss the lesson 2 of our module, which is about arts, function, and philosophy. So, after we tackle this lesson, we are expected to understand the functions of art for the individual, as well as how art is significant for cultures and societies, and explain some philosophical perspectives on art. So, everyone agrees that the art is a product of man's emotion. It is the expression of a person's about his or her thoughts and a person's interpretation of the world around them. So, tama naman po no, nakakalikha ang isang tao ng bagay sa pamamagitan ng mga forces na nagmumula sa kanyang paligid at maging ang intensyon at kagustuhan ng kanyang sarili. It is said that art is generally regarded as impractical because art, it is something that is very optional, no? Kasi hindi naman tayo pinipilit nito. The decision to do it is still lies in our hands. Halimbawa na lang ikumpara natin yung pang-araw-araw na gawain ng isang tao, gaya ng kakain 3 beses sa isang araw, 'di ba? Nire-required tayo nito na gawin or dapat magampanan or magawa natin, pero sa paggawa ng isang art, walang sapilitan. Lahat ay malayang gawin ito or hindi. So, there are arts that is said to be functional and others are classified as not functional. So, masasabi lamang po natin na ang art ay functional kapag it has an obvious purpose. Gaya po ng furniture making, di ba? Nagagamit ito in designing houses and for other human purposes. Samantala, ang mga art naman ay nai-produce to amuse or provide a pleasant escape from life's daily problem ay masasabi nating not functional. Gaya po ng paintings kasi 'di ba, ito ay ginawa for exhibitions or nagawa ng isang artist because of intense emotions. So, kay ganun pa man, ayon kay Ortiz et al. 1976, lahat ng art ay mayroong function. Dahil para sa taong gumawa, mayroon itong particular na pangangailangan or nakapag natugunan nito ang particular na pangangailangan ng artist na gumawa. Tayo bilang tao, masasabi natin na ang art ay functional una kapag natugunan nito ang personal nating pangangailangan, gaya po ng pagpapahayag ng ating nararamdaman, mga sarili nating opinyon at pananaw kung saan na ilalapat natin ito sa ating mga likha. Pangalawa, kapag natugunan nito ang ating sosyal na pangangailangan, gaya po ng pagpapakita ng ating mga likha sa ibang tao o di kaya pagbibigay ng parangal sa ating gawa kapag may idinadaos tayong selebrasyon. At pangatlo or panghuli, kapag natugunan nito ang pisikal natin na pangangailangan, gaya po ng pagiging kapaki-pakinabang ng ating mga gawa kung saan nagagamit natin ito sa loob at labas ng ating tahanan. Marahil karamihan sa atin ay nagtatanong, paano ba natin matutukoy or masasabi na ang isang artwork ay masasabi nating functional? So, merong tugon si Ortiz et al. Ng 1976 diyan. Sabi niya, para malaman natin ang function ng isang art, dapat masagot natin ang katanungan na what is it for? Kasi 'di ba, hindi lahat ng artworks ay magkakapareho or magkakatimbang. Ang isa ay maaaring mas functional kaysa sa isang artwork. So, ito ay nakadepende no kung paano nito natugunan ang ating pangangailangan bilang tao sa personal, social at physical.
Good day everyone. I am Jane Princess S. Palacio and now we are going to discuss the art and the individual, the personal function. So art, what is art for you? How does it affect you? And how does it define you as a person? Now, it is said that the personal function of arts are diverse and based on or influenced by personal feelings, tastes, or opinions. The personal function of arts are the most difficult to explain. Why? There are many types of personal functions and these are highly subjective. It is not likely to be the same from person to person, right? This means that its functions depend on the person, which is the artist who created the art. An artist may create a piece out of a need for self-expression or gratification. They might also or instead want to communicate a thought or point to the viewer. Sometimes an artist is only trying to provide an aesthetic experience both for self and viewers. A piece might be meant to entertain, provoke thought, or even have no particular effect at all. Now, have you ever go in a museum? Personally, I've been once in a museum when I am around 14 years old. Of course, a lot of artworks are there, and since I do love art painting, when I saw this certain masterpiece that caught my attention, it's like something pushed me to have my own. Now, art's personal function for me is to express my hidden emotions and perceptions that I do not share with others. My mind started to have a thought like, someday I want my artworks to be seen in a museum. Just like that. So, see, it will depend on us on how an art will define us as a person. Now, what thing or reason why an artist do artworks? Simply because of arts, because it drives artists' expression of their feelings and ideas. Likewise for us, layman or non-artists, the arts also serve as a means of expression for us. Personal function is value for a reason, from artist to artist and viewer to viewer. One's experiences with art is different. Knowing the background and behaviors of an artist rather helps when interpreting the personal function of their pieces. Okay, now, who's here hate doing art? Okay, on my journey as a student, a lot of persons I encountered doesn't like this thing. Kasyo, hindi raw sila magaling, hindi raw sila marunong. They don't know what color should be used. But if we will just look on the positive side of doing an art, they will find the heart and soul of it. There are persons na sa una, they don't believe themselves. They didn't believe that the outcome will be wonderful. But, in the end, they did a masterpiece without expecting. See, art helps us to educate our senses and sharpens our perceptions of colors, forms, textures, designs, sounds, ano pa, rhythms, and harmonies in our environment because we think creatively. Art make us more aware and appreciative around the things in our environment. Visual and auditory literacy through contact with the artist can lead us to an intensified awareness of our life. Visual and auditory literacy through contact with the artist can lead us to an intensified awareness of the beautiful in life. It can thus make our experience less humdrum. It can refine and elevate our aesthetic taste. Now, works of art make us aware of other ways of thinking, feeling, and imagining that have never occurred to us before. Diba? When we watch movies, we are affected by the emotions we are watching, right? Also, on listening to music, nadadala yung emotion natin. When we see a beautiful painting na amaze tayo, these are all works of art. These are personal because it touches us personally. They offer us fresh insights into nature and human nature so that we gain a better understanding of ourselves and the world around us. They help us improve ourselves. Personally, I just want to share that as my life led me into a place where no one knows, a void of alphabets, words, sense of paints, and colors propelled my system to go and continue. Now, just a reminder, we are all works of art. That's all, thank you.
Good day everyone. My name is Alvin B. DeLuis and now we're gonna talk about the social function, art, culture in society. First one, many works of art influence the way we think, feel, or act. In other words, art can influence the attitudes of people in groups, affecting the way they think or feel and ultimately the way they act. 'Di ba meron naman pong mga artwork na inspire po kung ano po yung kanilang nararamdaman at kung ano rin po yung kanilang nakita sa kanilang kapaligiran. Used to express humanitarian as concerns as well as ideological or political comment. Art can express political ideas, reinforce religion, or convey deeply personal thoughts. An early examples in the Byzantine mosaic in Basilica of San Vitale in Italy that connects Roman role in religion. It is created to be seen or used primarily in public situation or display and celebration. Serve to record important historical events or reveal the ideals of heroism and leadership. Art preserves what fact-based historical records cannot. How it will exist in a particular place at particular time. Art in this sense is communication. It allows people from different cultures and different time to communicate with each other via image, sounds, and stories. The art are also linked to rituals. Rituals and art are essentially connected. And art plays a similar functions today to that which ritual played in the past. Also, it might mean that the best way to understand the nature of art is to understand that connection to ritual. Artworks are vital historical documents. Art from the past holds clues to life in the past by looking at the artworks, symbolism, colors, and materials. We can learn about the culture that produced it by analyzing artworks from in the past and looking at their details. We can rewind time and experience what a time period different from our own was like. Yun lang. Thank you.
Art and the physical world, the physical function. So what is physical function? Artists and craft people constantly invent new ways to create functional art. So 'di ba, lahat ng tao, mapa-artist man o craftman ay iisa ang layunin. Makatuklas ng ibang pamamaraan na makagawa ng mga art na alam na magagamit, mapapakinabangan at madidisplay ang mga arts na alam nating papatok. Next is focus on new and interesting forms. So dapat bago gagawa ang isang artist ng isang bagay, dapat ito ay interesado at bago. Alam niyo ba kung bakit? Kailangan ito dahil dito nila maaaring makuha ang loob ng mga mamimili, titingin or sa mga magpapagawa sa kanila. And then maliban din sa bago, minsan nagpapagawa sila sa mga artists kung ano yung mga gusto nilang designs or color. The easiest to spot and understand. So minsan para sa mga artists, madali lang sa kanila gumawa ng ibang mga objects kasi maaaring ito ay sanay na gumawa at ang galawan ay talagang professional ang dating ng ilang craftsman. So then sometimes, nag-iisip muna sila kung ano yung una nilang gagawin, sabihin na nating pagpaplano. And dapat mas alam o mas naiintindihan nila kung ano dapat ba ang magiging purpose nito sa mga tao or sa mga taong gagamit nito. It can be found in artworks that are crafted to serve some physical purpose. Ito ay mga gawang sining na ginagawa dahil may purpose. So, 'di ba yung mga artist or mga craftsman, mas kailangan nila dito ng idea or motivation. Example sa mga architect, kailangan ng instruction ng client. Halimbawa, yung design ng project is ganito. Tapos, need ng opinion ng may-ari. After that, magkakaroon na ng sketching. After sketching, ipapakita kay client. Then, pag okay na, submit it to engineer. Then, si engineer, bibigyan ng instruction ng tauhan. Bibigyan niya ng instruction ng kanyang tauhan na to start the project. So, ilan pang halimbawa yung sa jewelry making. Ang gagawin nila is magpaplano muna. And then, kapag may naisip na silang plano, so, i-sketch nila yung kanilang plano. And then, ipaprocess na ito agad sa makina or kung ano mang technology yung kanilang gagamitin or maging ito ba ay kamay or gawang kamay. So after ito ma-process, lalagyan na ng design kung ano ba yung gusto mong design. Example, ang design is heart, and then dapat yung gamit nito is diamond. So next dun is outpick. Maaari nila itong ibenta sa mga mall or online man or kahit saan man. Gayon din sa interior design. So, gaya nga ng sinabi ko is sketch muna, no, yung pagpaplano. And then, bago nilalagyan ito ng interior design. And then, next is outtake na. So, marami pang ibang halimbawa marami pang halimbawa na mga artist. So, yung mga gumagawa ng iba't ibang arts, no? Tulad ng iba sa mga pagpipainting din. Isa din yung physical function. So, again po, ang physical function is layunin nilang makatuklas ng iba pang pamamaraan na makagawa ng mga art na maaaring ito ay mapapakinabangan or merong purpose, no? So, yun po yung physical function.
Good day everyone. Today we are going to discuss the summary of the different philosophical perspective on art. So the first philosophical perspective that we are actually going to discuss is Plato. According to Plato, artists are just imitators and art is just an imitation. The things in this world are all the copies of the original, the external, and the true eternities that can only be found in the world of forms. So, for Plato, imitators' art is just an imitation. It's an imitation of the reality, so they are actually not true. So, for Plato, he is more into idealistic or he's more into idealism. When we say idealism, everything that exists in the mind is the only true form, and outside the mind is not true. He believed that art imitates reality, that it imitates the objects and events of ordinary life, be it images of nature or a photograph. He saw art is nothing more than an imitation of people, places, and things that already exist. For example, one chair is an idea created by God. The second chair created by carpenter who by constructing the chair imitates God's idea. The third chair is created by a painter who paint the chair by imitating the carpenter created chair. So Plato was deeply suspicious of arts and artists for two reasons. So Plato has two suspicions. First is they appeal to the emotion rather than to the rational faculty of men. According to Plato, a man should be rational in nature. Everything should have reasons ideally, but in art we sometimes do not go with the reality because we appeal to the emotion we see. We try to symbolize something. We try to give or associate a certain emotion on the art pieces and on the process of creating the art pieces. The second reason is they imitate rather than to lead one to reality. Because for Plato, he was idealistic in nature, he sees art as an imitation because we only try to imitate or we only show the artists on their time was actually trying to impress the masses. That's why the art pieces or the work of art during those times are very aesthetic in nature, and sometimes they are beyond the reality or they change the view on the reality, which is misleading according to Plato. The second philosopher is Aristotle. According to Aristotle, art is a representation. Aristotle agreed with Plato that art is a form of imitation. However, Aristotle considered art as an aid to philosophy in revealing the truth, the kind of imitation that art does not antithetical to the reaching fundamental truths in the world. Unlike Plato, who thought that art is an imitation of another imitation, Aristotle conceived of art as representing possible versions of reality. For Aristotle, all kinds of art do not aim to represent reality as it is. It endeavors to provide a version of what might be the possibilities of reality. In Aristotelian worldview, art is another version of a possible reality because the reality that we see today may be different from the others' perspectives. So thank you for listening. Let's move to the next reporter again. Have a good day to everyone.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jonalyn Alcasuncad and I will continue the discussion about the art as representation. According to Aristotle, art serves two particular telos or purpose. So the first one is art allows for the experience of pleasure. So when we say pleasure, it means experience that feels good or involve the enjoyment of something. Next is art has an ability to be instructive and teach its audience things about life. Those is cognitive as well. So according to him, arts teach us how to see the world in our own imagination. Arts teach us about new ideas in life and the world around us. So the next is art as disinterested judgment, according to Immanuel Kant. In his critique of judgment, he considered the judgment of beauty, the cornerstone of art, as something that can be universal despite its subjectivity. So when we say subjectivity, it is based on personal opinions and feeling rather than in agreed facts. A painting might be beautiful to one person and ugly to another, but the material object remains unchanged. So every one of us has a different interpretation or definition of beauty. Kant defines beauty as being judged through an aesthetic experience of taste. This experience must be devoid of any concept, emotion, or any interest in the object that we are describing as beautiful. Most of all, the experience of beauty is something that we feel. Whether you think this definition is too narrow or too wide, but you now have at least something to think about and come up with your own ideas. So the most redeeming feature I think in Kant's definition is that beauty is universal. It is the only experience on this earth that can be felt by all of us. Yun lang po. Thank you.